160 years ago, on July 7, 1865, 4 of the convicted conspirators in the assassination of Abraham Lincoln were put to death by hanging on the grounds of the old Arsenal Penitentiary in Washington, D.C. The condemned prisoners consisted of Lewis Powell, who had attacked and nearly fatally wounded Secretary of State William Seward; David Herold, who had assisted and joined John Wilkes Booth on his ill-fated escape after the shooting of the president at Ford's Theater; George Atzerodt, who had been commissioned to kill Vice President Andrew Johnson, but failed to attempt it; and last but not least, Mary Surratt, the owner of a D.C. boarding house, who assisted Booth by transporting field glasses to her Maryland tavern on the afternoon of the assassination. Following the chief executive's assassination, the nation's desire for retribution came to an end with the execution of these 3 men and 1 woman. The deaths of the conspirators was widely reported in the day's press following an 8-week military trial that heard testimony from 347 witnesses. Newspapers across the country carried detailed accounts of the hanging by Associated Press reporters and other witnesses on that sweltering July afternoon. And 20 years ago today, on July 7, 2005, in London, England, there were 4 coordinated suicide attacks carried out by Islamist terrorists that targeted commuters traveling on London's public transport during the morning rush hour. 3 terrorists separately detonated 3 homemade bombs in quick succession aboard London Underground trains in inner London. Later, a 4th terrorist detonated another bomb on a double-decker bus in Tavistock Square. The Circle Line near Aldgate and at Edgware Road, as well as the Piccadilly Line near Russell Square, were the sites of the train explosions. Apart from the bombers, 52 people of 18 different nationalities were murdered and nearly 800 were injured in the attacks. It was the United Kingdom's deadliest terrorist attack since the Lockerbie bombing of 1988. And the United Kingdom's first Islamist suicide attack. Backpacks filled with concentrated hydrogen peroxide and pepper were used to make homemade explosive devices, which set off the explosions. The 4 terrorists involved in the attacks were Hasib Hussein, 18, Mohammed Sadiq Khan, 30, Jermaine Lindsay, 19, and Shihab Tanweer, 22. 3 of the bombers, Hussein, Khan, and Tanweer, were British-born sons of Pakistani immigrants, and Lindsay was a convert born in Jamaica. Hasib Hussein lived in Leeds with his brother and sister-in-law. Hussein detonated his bomb on a bus. 14 people, including him, died in the explosion in Tavistock Square. Mohammed Sadiq Khan lived in Beeston, Leeds, with his wife and young child, where he worked as a learning mentor at a primary school. Khan detonated his bomb on the number 216 train, killing 7 people, including himself. Jermaine Lindsay lived in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire, with his pregnant wife and young son. He detonated his device on the number 311 train. The blast killed 27 people, including him. And Shihab Tanweer also lived in Beeston Links, occasionally working in his mother's and father's fish and chip shop on Lodge Lane, Beeston. He detonated his bomb on the number 204 train. 8 people, including Tanweer, were killed by the explosion. The explosion also injured future Paralympic athlete Martine Wright, who was commuting to work. The 52 murdered victims had diverse backgrounds. All were United Kingdom residents, including exchange students. The majority lived in or near London. Their ages ranged from 20 to 60, with an average of 34. 32 victims were British, while one victim each came from Afghanistan, France, Ghana, Grenada, India, Iran, Israel, Italy, Kenya, Mauritius, New Zealand, Nigeria, Romania, Sri Lanka, and Turkey. 3 victims were Polish, 1 was an Australian of Vietnamese descent, and 1 was a dual citizen of the United States and Vietnam. 7 of the victims were murdered in Aldgate, 6 at Edgeworth Road, 26 at King's Cross, and 13 at Tavistock Square. Can't believe it's been 20 years. Those who are living in the UK or around the world, never forget this tragedy. Well, that's all the updating events I have for today. So if you like what you hear, be sure to leave a comment down below and subscribe. This is Stephen Luke, and I'll see you next time for another history update. Never forget 7-7, all of you. God bless them.